Thank you for inviting me. I want to extend greetings to the organizers of this program and to express admiration for all the great work of the Irgun Torah United for Protection and the Association of Crown Heights Shuls to increase and encourage Torah study and specifically the work of the Rebbe and the Rebbe's Takonis in the Limud HaRambam. I have to say honestly, I came to inspire, but I am inspired. Specifically, I want to thank Rabbi Rabbi, who organizes Kvisitum LaTorah Barabim and this gathering, for asking me to know. We know, as we all heard, how much this means to the Rebbe and all the Rabbeim. So techezakna yidechem, and may you be zoiche lahagdil Torah lahadilo. A special, somebody people are wondering, what am I doing over here? Sometimes I'm actually wondering myself. I'm not sure exactly, but especially Asher Koyach is to Shlomi Greenwald for inviting me here this evening to talk about the website TorahRecordings.com. Shlomi's support and tireless work to strengthen Torah and Yiddishkeit are legendary. I wish to thank him and bless him to go Mechayil El-Choyil and continue to make the Rebbe proud and give the Rebbe much nachas. On a personal level, I want to reflect on my personal inspiration for this shiur of Torah Barabim. My father, Olav Sholem, during his lifetime, a member of the Shechuna of Crown Heights, where I grew up, participated and gave many public shiurim in the Shechuna, and he was instrumental in developing in the growth of Teres Kenim, answering the Rebbe's call to establish an institution in Crown Heights in the Rebbe's Shechuna. This is a very special memory I have, and I will always remember and cherish. My father worked hard all week. Mostly, he would leave the house before I woke and would come back home after I had already gone to sleep. Shabbos, Friday night, sometimes there was frigid weather, as we all know. So my father would every Friday night during the winter months walk several blocks to participate in a shiur that Rabbi Tenenbaum Olav Sholem would give in the weekly portion of Torah Eir. And, knowing myself, being my father's age then, Friday nights, by the time comes Friday night, I'm ready to, I can't even make it to bed, just after a full week. That is the memory that is etched in my conscience, how important Torah learning was to him. And I believe that it is those memories, today, we're so busy checking up on the phones, on the news, and we want to know, okay, we don't have television, but we have other, unfortunately, means. And then I wonder, what is the message our kids get? What do they get? They get also to look at their iPhones and look at the other things, instead of my home, where I grew up, I knew that Torah, that was the most important. So I just want to tell you why I started this TorahRecordings.com. Because I came out of yeshiva, I was a bacher, and I was sent actually by the Rebbe as a Rosh Yeshiva to start the Yeshiva Gedolah in the Boston area. And I could figure out a Tosfos, I could argue a Svara back and forth, but I very quickly realized that my Yediyas, real Yediyas in Torah, were really very, very poor, very schwach. We learned, how much of Torah did I really know? How much I said to myself, how much Black Gemara did I ever learn? How much do I know even the Chumash and Rashi properly? I was just felt very, very, very poor in my knowledge of Torah. And I made a decision that no, Torah is our treasure, and no matter what, the Rebbe sent me to yeshiva to teach Torah, but I have to make Torah something which is very important to me. My father also, Wolosow, had a very interesting expression. He'd always say, he says, sagt, lernen darf ich nicht, weil ich kenne schon. Und kennen darf ich nicht, weil ich mich schon am Erforschen. Everybody thinks I know. But Mela, you get away with it. Everybody thinks he knows. Was darf ich lernen? But, to me, that wasn't good enough. I sort of felt, there's just so much of Torah that when will we have a chance to know and to learn? And the truth of the matter is that during most of my shlichus years after the yeshiva did not work out over there for long, I ran a Beis Chabad, I ran camps, and I ran shuls and programs like everybody else. I didn't have really that much time to learn myself. I was always running from place to place. But one thing, I'm an auditory learner. If you give me a good shiur, I listen very quickly, and I can give over. I don't need that much. I mean, I have a little familiarity, so I was looking for a good audition. That was before, I'm talking about 20 years ago, okay? Today you got on the daf, people want to learn a little Gemara. I have to prepare a shiur in Gemara. Yeah, go sit down with the Gemara and start learning. And it was before our scroll. It was just very difficult. Look, so you have to try to listen to Rabbi Karpsel Vashal shiur in Yiddish in Montreal that he gave, or you can try to listen to some Rabbi Grossman who gave us a shiur in California. You can't hear him, you can't verstehen. I was partially looking for something to learn myself quickly so that I can come and sit down by a class to give it. I didn't have the time to sit down and prepare so much. I really didn't find that there was so much quality shiur at the time. Again, I stress, today it's unbelievable what you have available, but at the time. So I said to myself, if the Eibishter will give me a chance, give me an opportunity, I'd like to make a better program. So it's going to be a long time, and I promised the MC that I won't take up more than 10 minutes, so I will still stick to my promise. And I don't know, I have my watch, so my phone died, so I don't know if I took up already 10 minutes. But I know I came here to tell you about the TorahRecordings.com. Baruch Hashem, because I made myself a goal to know Torah and to learn Torah as much as I can. So I try to constantly busy learning Torah. Like we learned the parsha this week, Shinantum Levanecha v'Debartabam, the Sikh of Ekev, and the Sikh of Eschanon, that the Rebbe discusses this, that actually Limud HaTorah, Limud L'Lamed come together. So I made it my business that when I learn, when I teach, I learn and I teach all at the same time. I try to record whatever I learn. Whatever I learn, I record. Tell you, a lot of times, you work on something. Let's say you have a hard Tosfos, a Shverish Tigul Gemara. Okay, you work it out, but it takes time to work out. It doesn't happen, and you work it out. And then, Shikha Mitzuya, come back a month later, or you come back a half a year later, is Ki'ilu, you got to start working it over again. I don't know, some people, Baruch Hashem, are blessed with memories. I read one of the letters of the Rebbe. So the Rebbe somebody writes Shikha, they're very encouraging. The Rebbe brings down from the Kustam HaTorah. The Rebbe says that Shikha is only from lower than the Kisei HaKoved, but higher than that there is no Shikha. And the Rebbe encourages him. He said he forgot. He was by the Rebbe Rashav. He heard them, the Divrei Torah. He doesn't remember. The Rebbe says to him, don't be discouraged. The Rebbe says that all the Torah you learn that's brought in Kustam HaTorah, La'osid, everything will be preserved. Everything will come back to you. So, B'meila, this was my vehicle, my way to learn myself and to teach others. What I want to say to you, again, it's a very difficult thing to be Mu'ut HaMachzik Samaruba, to tell you in a few minutes. The Torah recording website is a tremendous resource. It's a tremendous resource. It's a resource because there's just a lot of information over there which you can use handy. I try to make things easier for somebody who wants to learn. point one finger in the Gemara, the other finger in the Rashi. The Rashi you can't see exactly. What I did is I always have the Tzuras Hadaf as well, because of course that's the most important, to have the Tzuras Hadaf. But sometimes till you get to the Tzuras Hadaf, to help you learn, put in a comma, put in a little mark, know where it starts, know where it ends, make a space. Don't make it all too much. Same thing is everything that I do. I try to make Torah more accessible by recordings, by the text, making it clear. Baruch Hashem, I try every day to learn Chassidus and Nigla, and I try to make it easier. Most of the time, I learn with people. So whatever I have to do, I learn with somebody else. So therefore, I learn, Yashir, an individual, whoever it is. But when there's nobody else, it's like the Chenveni, like the Mishnah says, I learn myself. I know there. So the truth is that in later years, some of my obligations have become less, and therefore I find I have a little bit more time to spend on learning Torah. When you talk about the old Rebbe's takonis and old Rebbe's demands and expectations, the Rebbe would rather you not finish all your obligations and get stuck, fall asleep, or rather than having too much time on hand and not knowing how to fill the time and looking for something how to entertain yourself. So, without having said really any specific and the details, I just want to say there's a lot of Chassidus over there. I struggled learning Likutei Torah. I struggled learning Torah. Almost the entire Torah, almost the entire Likutei Torah. I say almost, probably 90%. I don't know the exact number. 90% of the Likutei Torah has been broken up, subislach, with commas and everything, and it has shiurim in it. As a lot of the Likutei Torah, Poshet, there's concepts. Some of the Maimorim are just very, very difficult to say. So the entire Tanya is there. You have the entire Shas over there. You have almost the entire Rambam, finishing up the Rambam. As you mentioned, there's just a lot of stuff. And actually, just the davening itself. Every day's davening is in there. For the Pasheta people. I had from my Balabatim, I used to have not from people come to daven. Instead of every time having to look at the page, I used to have the page number in my siddur. And the siddur over there, there's a tremendous amount. I said, to list to you here would take me more than 10 minutes, and I already took up more than 10 minutes. That allotted to me. I feel terrible for doing that. But please, do me a favor, do yourself a favor. This is not a substitute for shiurim. I'm telling you, actually, I don't endorse going online at all. And I tell you personally, they made me put it on now on YouTube. Every time I open YouTube, there's schmutz over there. There's not a question. I don't endorse. Go to the shiur that Rabbi Rodbam. Don't go to the internet if you don't have to. But the internet is only if you're not. A Yid comes to me and he says to me, Rabbi, I'm sure you're going to tell me that because I can't walk to shul, I said, no, don't drive to shul. You're not allowed to drive to shul. That's prohibited. So why are you going to shul when you're doing against what David wants? But I said to him, look, if you don't go to shul, what are you going to do? Are you going to sit home? No. He says, I said, look, if you're going to go to the mall and you're going to drive your car and you're going to waste time, I said, you know what? I don't want to come out and tell you go to shul, but I'm just saying to you, you have to keep Shabbos. That's what I can tell you to do. If you're going to do it. So then I told him, you know what? I have an eitzah for you. I said, once a month, keep Shabbos. He said, particularly day of Sefer. And I said, keep Shabbos once a month, keep Shabbos. But I say keep Shabbos fully. If you're not going to go to shul, don't. But anyways, I see that I'm out of time here. Okay, thank you again. Everybody over here. Thank you for inviting me. I don't know for what I added to your thing, but take a look at the TorahRecordings.com and the Mitzvah Shem Oit Chazon Lamoyed. I know that when Rabbi Shloimeh Greenwald puts himself into making the TorahRecordings.com a household name, that will happen. Mitzvah Shem Bezras Hashem. Thank you very much.